guys, what's up? It's your girl back at it again with that spooky content. So today is the 1st. If everything goes according to plan, you're seeing this on October 1st. If it doesn't, you're seeing it in the first week of October, and that is good enough for me. I'm trying to do 13 videos. So if all goes well, this is video 1 of 13. We're gonna try our best. Because it is the 1st of October, I thought it would be fun to do a movie recommendation video. I am planning to do other movie recommendation videos, so if a movie you like isn't on this list, that doesn't mean it won't be. The list that I'm doing today is just my favorite. I like my favorite fall movies, like that get me in the fall mood, that give me that fall energy. If you don't like something on this list, that's okay. This is my list. There will be some horror movies, some Halloween movies. There'll be some movies that I just put on here because they make me feel warm and fall-y. And as to not bore you, I pulled this on my Instagram and asked you guys if you guys would like me to do my makeup while I talk about the movies, and you guys said yes. So today I'm going to tell you guys about movies that I like while doing my makeup. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off at number 1, no Halloween movie list, no fall movie list is complete unless you talk about Hocus Pocus. Oh, and like I said, these aren't in any particular order. It's just kind of me spouting off my thoughts because I really like movies. I'm not a movie connoisseur, I'm just a person who likes movies. Well, actually, I have met some people who have never seen it, which is always surprising to me because I feel like they play that on TV. They sell Halloween stuff for it everywhere, every year. So I'm like, if you haven't seen Hocus Pocus, I don't know why. Other than you are specifically avoiding it, which why would you do that? It is one of the best Halloween movies. Hocus Pocus is a Disney movie and they have it on Disney Plus, so if you have it, you can watch it today and I would highly recommend it. I watched it the other night just to make sure that it still held up because it had been a minute since I watched it, and oh my god, does it hold up. It's still so good. It's so funny, so entertaining. The scene in the town hall where she sings "I Put a Spell on You," an iconic scene. 10 out of 10. Love that scene. Anyway, what is Hocus Pocus about? So, Hocus Pocus is about a kid, Max, who moves to Salem, which, as you would imagine, is very into Halloween. And he is kind of like, nah, Halloween, fuck that, dude. Like, Halloween is dumb. I don't believe in witches or any of that shit because he's from California and, like, he's too cool for school. And he ends up liking this girl from Salem who really is into all the Halloween stuff. And so one night when he takes his sister, Danny, trick-or-treating, they come across that girl he likes, whose name is Allison. And they decide to go to the old Sanderson Museum, and Max, because he's too cool, he ends up lighting the black flame candle. So 300 years later, the Sanderson sisters, when they are killed, they say they'll be back in 300 years when a virgin lights the black flame candle on Halloween. Cue 300 years into the future. Max lights the black flame candle, and it just follows them on Halloween night as they try to warn everybody about the Sanderson sisters being back. The Sanderson sisters, as they try to find more children to eat so they can stay young forever, basically. It's such a good film. If I decide to spoil anything in any of the movies, I'll let you know, just in case you don't want to see it, where to skip ahead to in order to not get any spoilers. I'll talk about as much as I think I need to. But yeah, Hocus Pocus is a Halloween classic, and I don't think you have completed your fall or Halloween season if you have not watched it. Next, I'm going to jump into a movie that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I really like it. I feel like it's gotten a lot more popular in the last few years, and that is the movie Trick or Treat. So the movie Trick or Treat is an anthology where you follow 5 different stories of stuff going on in a town on Halloween night. One of the stories is of a girl who is going to a Halloween party with her friends, and they are teasing her about finding a date, and it is kind of implied from what you hear in the conversation that she is a virgin. The way that plays out is interesting. Another story is of a group of kids who are essentially bullying this one girl who they all think is really weird, and invite her with them to go to where these kids years ago were taken on a bus and disposed of. Then there is the story of one of the, I believe he's a teacher or principal, and he has a little bit of secrets, and we follow him and see what those secrets are about. We follow these 5 stories, and they do all end up connecting in the end. The one thing you see in all the stories is the character of Sam. And Sam, I would explain, maybe like we can call him like the guardian of Halloween. He makes sure that Halloween traditions are followed, and if not, Sam will do what he needs to make sure you pay. Obviously, it takes place during Halloween, so you get that fall Halloween energy, and the stories are all really short and fun, and yeah, it's just a good movie. Like, that's not scary, but like a good like little nibble into horror if you're just looking for something casual to watch. Now let's stay in the realm of horror. So let's stay in the realm of horror and talk about another movie that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. It was on Netflix last year. I'm not sure if it still is. I watched this movie after I watched the Netflix documentary, The Art of Scare. I don't know what was called. I'll put the title here if I can find it. But it was just a documentary where they kind of looked into haunted attractions that people put on themselves that are considered more extreme haunts, and it also covers another haunt that people talk about a lot if you're interested in these things, McCamey Manor, which I heard of when I was really young. I legitimately believed that at some point I would go through that, and now being an adult, I don't know why I would ever want to do that. I would recommend, if you like watching documentaries, especially if you're interested in haunted houses or things like that, it's a really good documentary. I really enjoyed it. They just talk about like basically like kind of the ethics of some of the things McCamey Manor does, as well as why a lot of these people decided to do what they do and how they do it. It's really interesting. I really enjoyed it, especially as someone who loves going to haunted houses. I try to go to at least once a week during Halloween to a haunted house. Sometimes I start in September just to get as many in as I can. This year with COVID, obviously I don't think that's going to be a thing. But yeah, that's how I found this next movie that I'm recommending, The Houses That October Built. So I'm not the biggest fan of found footage horror, but I have a handful that I do like, and I do have one that I'm going to include in a different list. But this one is shot in found footage style, and it is about a group of friends who want to travel across America and make a documentary basically documenting the scariest haunted houses in America. And I guess really quickly one of them gets really frustrated with the scares because everything's kind of predictable, and they hear about this haunt called the Blue Skeleton, which is supposed to be super extreme and super secretive, and it moves every year. Some point along they do get the information on how to find it. When they get there, they film, which the crew of that attraction does not like, and from there the crew from the haunted house starts following them. It's pretty creepy. I feel like maybe the reason it freaks me out is because I feel like a lot of people kind of have this fear that when they go somewhere like to a haunted house that they'll encounter like something that's actually threatening, which is maybe why this movie is a little bit scarier. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do. I'm no Bailey Sarian, so obviously the look that we are going to be doing today isn't gonna be like amazing. Okay, yeah, so let's talk about like a more classic Halloween movie, and that is HalloweenTown. So HalloweenTown is a Disney original movie, and I feel like everyone has seen it. They are also on Disney Plus. This is not sponsored, but I do have Disney Plus, and I very much love Disney. I go every year during Halloween, but again, COVID, so that we are not doing that this year. HalloweenTown has quite a few movies. I think there are 4 or 5. There's HalloweenTown, HalloweenTown 2, Kalabar's Revenge, HalloweenTown 3, where they all have high school together. I know there's a 4th one where they go to college. The ones that you should watch are 1 and 2, honestly. I think I enjoy the second one a little bit more. No, I like them both. They're both really good. Go ahead and watch HalloweenTown. Honestly, if you like HalloweenTown, if you end up liking both movies, you might as well just watch all of them because they're a fun ride. Like, yes, are the following ones as good as the first 2? No, but you know, they're a good time. HalloweenTown is basically about a girl, Marnie, who is really into Halloween. Her mom doesn't let her celebrate it. Her grandma comes to visit, and I guess the relationship between the mother and their grandma is very estranged. The grandma comes and visits only on Halloween when she does, and Marnie is about to be 13, which is when you're supposed to be completing your witches training or starting your witches training, or you lose your magic, which is basically what her mom wants. So it's about a family of witches, essentially. And it's really good. Next, what's another franchise that I like to watch, you ask? The Purge franchise. Now, we are not going to talk about the First Purge. I don't really like it. I don't mind it. But I didn't start liking the franchise until the second movie. I feel like the second and third movie I really liked. The fourth one was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I know they're coming out with a fifth in 2021, I believe is when it's scheduled for release. But yeah, The Purge, you've probably heard of it. I would say just skip the first one. Go watch the second and the third and the fourth. The first one doesn't really have to do with anything. It doesn't really build the world. It's just basically a home invasion movie. The next movie that I'm going to talk about is also one that I wouldn't say is necessarily a Halloween or fall movie, but I feel like it always puts me in the fall mood, and that is the movie Matilda. It is the cutest movie. It is about a little girl named Matilda who has telekinetic powers, and she is super smart, and all she wants to do is go to school. It just follows her and her life, and I don't know, it's just a really feel good, cuddly, soft movie. And maybe that's because I really liked Roald Dahl books as a kid. I read Matilda and the BFG, and I feel like the movie very much lives up to the book. Another one that I really like, again, these are on Disney Plus, go and watch them. The movie Tower of Terror. Tower of Terror is about a girl and her uncle who is a photographer, and he's pretty much like a tabloid photographer. So after watching this back, I realized that I was all over the place and I wasn't telling the story good. So I'm going to do a voice recording that's hopefully better because I'm dumb and I don't want to re-record the whole thing. So anyway, he ends up doing the story on the Hollywood Hotel because he did a fake ghost story that an elderly woman saw. She shows up after reading him and tells him about a strange event that happened years ago at the hotel. On Halloween night, when she was a little girl, an elevator with 5 people dropped when it was struck by lightning and everyone inside disappeared. And when Jill and her uncle go to the hotel to investigate, they end up finding proof of the events actually maybe being true. The ghosts begin to scare them off, but eventually they team up and Jill and her uncle start recovering items that will help in order to repair the events of that night and hopefully help the ghosts pass on. But the further along we get with the story, we realize that it might be more complicated than what they were originally told. It's probably one of my favorite movies on this list, honestly. I love it so much, and I don't hear or see a lot of people put it on any kind of Halloween movie list, so I and putting it on mine. So watch it and let me know if you like it. Another Disney DCOM that I like, honestly, Disney, when I was a kid, had the best Disney original Halloween movies ever. This one actually I do remember legitimately terrifying me as a child. It's Don't Look Under the Bed. It's about this girl who doesn't believe in paranormal things. Stuff starts happening in her town. She kind of is framed for it. I know at some point the brother's imaginary friend has something to do with what's going on, and she is confronted with the boogeyman. And I remember this movie being legitimately scary. Honestly, it's been a minute since I've watched it, but I'm gonna watch it again tonight, and I just remember it being really good and having a scene that was legitimately scary for me to watch as a child. Another movie that I would recommend you guys watch is The Craft. The Craft is a movie about a girl named Sarah who moves to a town where she starts hanging out with this group of girls who are interested in witchcraft and the occult, and Sarah is naturally gifted, and her friends end up getting powers. The girls kind of use their magic to escape the situations that they feel are making them unhappy. So one of the girls has a skin condition that's really bad, and she goes to get treatment for it. After she gets her powers, it goes away. One of the girls is in a really abusive household, and her mom and her live in a trailer park. She uses her magic to get rid of him, and they kind of all have to, it's like the power of all four of them combined kind of that gives them their magic. And then they kind of go crazy, especially Nancy. Nancy kind of loses her mind a little bit. It's that good old 90s high school occult classic movie. It gives me Heather's vibes, honestly. It is so good. It's so iconic. All the looks in it are so good. Yeah, it's just really good, really fun, really good Halloween movie. The only Tim Burton movie I am going to put on this list, because I feel like it is a Halloween classic, is Beetlejuice. It is about a girl, Lydia, whose family moves into a house of a couple that died, and the couple has not left to the other side. They are still living in the house. They don't even really know that they're dead until a little bit further on. And when Lydia's family moves in, they call Beetlejuice to try and get rid of them, but Beetlejuice is a little too intense and takes things a little too far. And also what I would recommend is, if you haven't heard the soundtrack for the musical, it's so good. Some of my favorite songs on there are Dead Mom, Home is really good. The whole being dead thing, you can see performances of the musical has a different story than the actual movie, so there's that too. If you really like Beetlejuice, it's kind of interesting seeing what they did for the stage production of it, so I would recommend you check out both of those things. Next movie, we'll go back to scary movies. I am going to recommend, and the only reason I'm recommending this newer version is because it is the only one that I've seen. I will be seeing the older ones and I'll give you my thoughts. I'm sure they're great, I just haven't gotten around to seeing them, so please don't tell me the other ones are better. I really liked this movie. Halloween, the newest one, and I just really liked it. I feel like it was a good amount of gore. I feel like the score of it was really good. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and I know she's in the originals too, which is why I want to watch the originals. I like her. I think she's great. Everything about it, I really liked it. It gave me Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes for some reason. Maybe that's just the way it's shot, like the coloring of the movie. I feel like it's a really good slasher movie. I think I'm pretty much done with my eyes. I think this is all I'm gonna do, and my liner and stuff, and see how it starts to look. I might add some rhinestones because I think that would look nice. I said I only have 3 left to talk about. So the next 2 that I'm going to talk about, I guess they're not really Halloween movies, but they do have monsters in them, and they do play them around Halloween time. I don't know, just every time I think about them, I'm like, Halloween. So first movie that I'm going to mention is Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. Now, when the movie takes place, the gang has already been separated for a few years after Daphne mentions missing the adventure of everything. So Fred organizes a reunion and they all decide to travel for her TV show, kind of exposing the haunts of America or haunted places of America, and she wants to find a legitimately haunted or scary place. So she travels with the crew in order to find a place that is legitimately haunted, where there are legitimate monsters. Like, she just wants legitimate mystery. And she ends up on this island that's owned by this woman, Madame Laveau, in Louisiana. And she is interesting. She doesn't like dogs. The island is full of cats, which if it were me, I would be like, this is suspicious already. They go to this island because this girl that they meet at the market tells them that she works there and that it's haunted. So if that's what they're looking for, they will find it on the island. So they go. They do right off the bat experience some stuff with ghosts. Velma gets picked up. They get a cold wind, and they catch a ghost on camera. Eventually, they do encounter zombies. They figure out that Madame Laveau and the girl, Lena, I think is her name, were part of kind of a group of settlers, is what they say, but it seemed kind of culty. In those flashbacks, it seems kind of culty, who were attacked by Morgan Moonscar, who was a pirate, who is the one that was telling them to get out and get off the island. So Leah and Madame Laveau were the ones that murdered him and his crew all those years ago, and now are going to kill the gang in order to stay young and live forever and blah 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 blah. And yeah, and that's what the movie is about, and it's so good, and it's legitimately spooky. The zombies are good. It's got that banger song in. So yeah, I would 10 out of 10 highly recommend that movie. Keeping in the Scooby-Doo realm, I would also recommend watching the live-action Scooby-Doo movie, the first one. Do they also go to Zombie Island? No, they go to Spooky Island. So as you can tell, I very much enjoy when they go to islands. But it's so good. I really liked it when I was younger. I've done some research into it, and apparently it was supposed to be like aimed more towards adults but I don't know what happened. Somewhere along the line the script changed, but that's the reason a lot of the cast agreed to it, was because they thought it was going to be like a more adult take on Scooby-Doo, and then some stuff got taken out. You can kind of see the audience it was going to be intended for with some of the jokes and references that they make to things. This one is similar. Like, it's been a while since they've all seen each other. They all get hired to go to this island where this mysterious entrepreneur who owns it says a lot of weird stuff is going down with the kids, because it's a popular college retreat place, and he says a lot of weird stuff's going down when they leave the island. These kids are freaking weird. And so he has them come to investigate and figure out, like, what's going on my island, dudes. Since it's been years, they haven't worked together, and they all want to be the one to solve the case. Eventually they do team up. They do figure out what's going on. Honestly, it's just a fun ride. I feel like that would be a sick amusement park to go to. Like, I would want to go to Spooky Island. Don't look at my eyebrow. I just fucked it up. Okay. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, brow. This is as even as my brows are going to get. Remember, sisters, not twins. We try our best on this channel, and that is always enough. Your best is always enough. Okay, I finally finished my rhinestones. So the final movie we are going to talk about is Cabin in the Woods. So Cabin in the Woods is technically a horror movie, but it's kind of a satire, dark comedy, horror movie. So Cabin in the Woods is about a group of friends that go to a cabin in the woods and getting killed off one by one, and they kind of fall into these stereotypes of horror tropes that we see. These kids that aren't normally these stereotypes. We learned that it is kind of a thing that happens every year that is done by the world government in order to appease some kind of gods, and they are just part of that, and there's certain like beats that have to be hit in order for the gods to remain appeased, and these kids happen to be the sacrifices chosen for this year. It reminds me a little bit of those crossover episodes you see when you're a kid, because there is a point in the movie where, depending on what they pick up, that is going to determine what method will be used to kill these teens. I think they're actually in college. When they find the lab near the end, you see a bunch of horror villains, and it kind of feels like a crossover episode of what you watch when you're a kid. It's really fun, it's really cool, and it's a really fun movie to watch to get into the Halloween spirit. It is very entertaining. I feel like many people will enjoy it. It's very funny. It almost has like an energy of the Scary Movie series, but like not too far in that direction. So it does feel like a horror movie until you get closer to the end, when the twist is revealed. I think this is the finished look. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I hope you guys had fun watching me do my makeup and listening to me do this fall movie recommendations list. If you guys like any of these movies and enjoy them, let me know in the comments down below, or tell me what your guys' favorite Halloween movies to watch. I'll include a list of the movie down below so you guys have that. Don't forget to follow all of my social medias. I am on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, obviously. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next days of Halloween. Like I said, this is one of 13. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much. Bye.